Welcome to Channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrating to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell on the side, so once we have all the updates and news, you'll be the first one getting all the insight. Now, such a unrest world that we are in, since we have put in numbers of different videos talking about the global issue that will affect the Australian immigration policy. Now, this is really unpleasing, as we have received this news yesterday, and all the leaders around the world has condemned the attack from the Hamas onto the Israel soil. Now, obviously, this is not the reason I wanted to do this video for today's topic, but certainly this event in the Middle East will obviously strike further global issues that will reflect and affect the upcoming policy as well. So just watch in this space. Don't know what will happen. Hopefully everything will be fine sooner, but seems to be it's a very large plane attack. There's already, I don't know, 200 plus people died already, so hopefully this won't grow into a certain capacity that affect more people, but it would definitely 100% affect the Australian immigration away, because there's obviously Jews, Israelites living in Australia, and how would they reflect back to their home. Anyway, God bless there. Now, the topic that I wanted to raise is obviously, you probably already know this, that the Job Skill Australia has announced the so-called the priority occupation list. Now, whether or not that's going to be fully taken, I believe that's the way the government structure will be, because this facility that being elected by the Labour government, since they come in the government, they have done a job skill summit. Remember, that's back in, I think, September 2022, in way to enlighten the general populations about the need of migrants, the skilled migrants there. So they have consequently elect this new body called Job and Skill Australia. So what this government body does is that they basically do an active researches on what sort of occupation is required, and we have recently received numbers of reports. I mean, this week, in the last week. There's the first one is the Towards National Job Skill Roadmap. So it's a boring document. I'm just gonna simply easily go through with numbers of minutes in this video for you. A skill priority list that's gonna connect to all our skill migration, and we will take a look at that one there. And the Clean Energy Generation Report, where there was official going into a national press conference talking about this one. Now, obviously, you may want to do a search there, and they were journalists asking about why are they training skilled migrant rather than training the domestic Australians, and the answer was that 50% of the Australian quits. Right. So, do we need skilled migrants in Australia? Well, I think the answer is pretty simple and straightforward. And the journalists asked whether or not they should put more effort in training Australians. Well, I think they did, because back last year they were talking about putting in some funds for a lot of 400,000 or something, whatever the number that is, that the locals, Australian, can enroll into TAFE courses, and they were paid for by Australian government. Unfortunately, I don't think what happened there. I think there were people definitely enroll, but 50% were quit. So that was the result of. And by the way, we know this 20, 30 years ago. Anyone does business in Australia already know this. That's a general population problem, the problem of Australia, and just something that politicians don't want to say it because they just cannot admit that what I have said last weekend. I think I've done a video on that one, the laziness of the locals, and that's the fact. And the numbers and the report had actually shown that. So definitely need skilled migrants there. So let's take a look at the first one. You may want to do a Google and search on this one. There's a lot of report there. I'm not going to go through and bore you on that one. I wanted to show you more about the occupation list that they have founded, where there is so-called the top 20 largest employing occupation in shortage in 2023. All right, but look, this is hilarious. I mean, it's a jobs that any Australian can do, but it still lack. No one want to do it. I just don't know why. Now the first one is aged disabled carer, retail manager, primary school teacher, secondary teacher. Now the fifth one is truck driver, electrician, childcare worker, sales and marketing manager, carpenter, chef, waiter, motor mechanic, solicitor, fitter, construction project manager. Yeah, very tiny for you, but I will read them out for you. Marketing specialist, software engineer, hairdresser, general practitioner, project builder. Now, I wanted to comment a little bit on this so-called the top 20 occupations in shortage. Now, probably half of them is not really in the immigration's occupation list. For example, truck driver. Now, how do you get skill assessed as a truck driver? And do you need a skilled migrants on truck driver? Now, how do we get that done? I think. Well, continue on. Electrician, a lot of electrical courses is not open for the international students. So they have called at the national press conference. They have called a lot of apprenticeship is going to open up for the skilled migrants. So you may expect that TAFE courses is coming out to promote all these different type of courses coming up for the international student. But they're also currently a government body with it. Remember the video that I done yesterday. They are doing a task force hunting down a lot of private vet institutions. So that's going to hurt the vet sector, and that including TAFE as well. So I'm not too sure how this is going to work. Childcare worker, it's always in need, but going through childcare services, and if they only get 18 months of the so-called 485 graduate work visa, temporary graduate visa, how are they going to end up to fill up the shortage there? And sales and marketing manager that has been there, it's not really on the actual list. I have never really hardly seen anyone actually gone through this one. Carpenter, they closed all the courses already. It's filled up. Chefs is always chef. What about waiter? No one want to be waiter. I mean, how do we train waiter? Not too sure on this one. Same as the retail manager. That's not even in the occupation list of the current skill occupation list, and it's still in need. I'm not too sure how that's gonna fitter. Not too many. Construction project manager, it's still lack on that one. I'm gonna comment a lot of this stuff. Hairdresser, general practitioner, project builder. Look, a lot of this so-called shortage supposedly can be filled by the local Australian, but the report actually show that there's still lack of interest of local Australian want to fill out those kind of work, or perhaps going through a full courses so they can get the license of the right skill to actually work in the actual sector. Now, interestingly, half of these occupation is not even in the current skill occupation list. Plus, some of them doesn't even get you through the right length of the temporary graduate visa in order to get skill assessed, in order to get to work and jobs. So I don't know. It's gonna be a mess there. Now continue on. There are a lot more stuff in this report that you may want to. It's at the bottom of this report, starting from page 45. You may want to look into the 200 plus occupation and which state needs them and which state doesn't need them. So you may want to have a look at that one there. So there's a lot. I'm not gonna go through each one of them. It's just gonna bore you a lot. Now, the next one is the clean energy generation. Obviously, Australia as a nation is moving forward into they so-called the big green energy country coming up in the world. Obviously, we have learned that the war going on in Europe and the transition of the climate change transition from the original fossil fuels into the green energy. Now the clean energy generation definitely will bring a lot of interest for migration as well. But whether or how this will actually cope into the actual skill migration, don't know. I don't know how, because this is very new. I haven't seen anyone actually done it, so don't know how this will actually work. But let's have a look. They are some. The report does show that there are some occupations that are interested and required to get more people. So there are. You can download this as well. Technician and trade workers, agriculture, architectural technicians, civil, electrical, motor mechanic, auto mechanic, aircraft engineer, metal fitter, structural steel, plumber, electrician, air conditioning, refrigerator mechanics, electrical distribution trades, electronic trade workers, telecommunication trade workers, chemical, gas, and the manager, policy planning manager, research and development, construction, engineer, productions, and they are labor required professionals, marine architects, urban regional planner, chemical materials, civil engineer, electrical, all type of engineers are all in there. So what are we looking at here? Well, look, they really need to merge the entire medium long term occupation list with the short term occupation list altogether, because from what we just saw, from truck driver, hairdresser, okay, retail manager, to all the electrician, engineers and all that kind of stuff, and they really need to open up all the internships for all these trade workers, for all these international students to actually enroll into these trade courses. Because what? Because why? Because the local Australians don't even want to do it, and they quit. 50% of them quit. So I don't know. But obviously, we also know that the opposition, the Liberal National Party, the coalition, is opposing for more migrants. So you see the fights between the politicians. Now, which one is actually telling us the truth? What is the real demand and need in Australia? I think a certain common sense person could actually depict from here. That's the reason why we have this channel, to have more transparency and looking through more information there. Now, there's obviously we have learned about and known about the Albanese government is proposing, the National Cabinet agrees to build 1.2 million homes. So we have come across the job skill Australia with the top 20 occupation requiring shortage, and we're also seeing the clean energy sector. Now, the construction sector is also in need. Now, 1.2 million homes or houses. Do you think Australia have enough builders and workers and tradesmen to complete 1.2 million houses and homes? I think we really need to think about getting a lot more skilled migrants in. Now, I'm not too sure about the opposition, the coalition party, how they will think about this. Well, they were the one calling housing crisis. So the National Cabinet agreed to build more houses. Then what would the opposition say? Well, yeah, great. Okay, now we need to build more houses, so let's build it. But we don't have enough workers in Australia. Now we stop everything? I'm not too sure. I don't see. where is the truth and fact lies, you can actually depict from reading a lot more information and news media around. But for this one, even if the coalition agrees to build 1.2 million homes, where do we find these workers? Okay, where are they? They are definitely not in Australia. Okay, last but not least, there's also a good news in Queensland where they have called Queensland Quantum and Advanced Technology Strategy. You may want to Google this. It's a big news as well. It was published back in July, but it's recently on the news media. You may want to do a little bit of reading there. So it's quite fancy. Not too many people is into quantum technology, but it's obviously one of the stuff that the futuristic technology that's required there. If you're in that sector coming into Australia, there's definitely a way to actually migrate there. There has not been any talks about how the quantum strategy will actually connect to the state skill migration yet, but obviously it's at the global talent sector there. If you're somebody interested about that one, probably Queensland will be a right place to go. Anyway, should you have a question, query, more than welcome to leave comment right down below, and I'll see you next video. Goodbye.